Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Alon.
This Walsh.
Well, what are we doing here, brother?
We're mourning.
We're just an entire community in mourning. We're going to do just like a short fucking pod because there's no games, and we'll get more into depth on Thursday Patreon pod and Thursday scouting and episode and all that stuff. But
Have you been listening to any Anfield raps over the last whatever?
No.
Me neither. Except today they had one. I've just kind of been deleting them because they've been like, prep. They did the Wolves game, and I'm like, okay, well, that's not happening, so I'm not going to listen to this.
The first the first 5 seconds of the Friday show, and Neil's just like, this is not the Friday show. We're not doing a Friday. I was like, oh, okay, delete. Like, what the fuck?
So they had one just like recently, was like some former Liverpool scout employee, like some actual worker from Liverpool with Gibbo, and he came on and he's like, hey, this is whatever the guy's name is, gave him an introduction. He came on. The first thing he said was like, well, thanks for having me on. Before we get started, I just want to, give my deepest sympathies to the royal family. And I just deleted it immediately. I don't know.
Can't be bothered.
I just immediately deleted. I was like, is this what's happening? Like, this is what's happening, I guess.
It's such an international sport and game, FPL, now that like, I often forget that it's even in a foreign country. It's on TV here. Everyone fucking I know, even friends who don't watch and know about it, gamble on it. It's everywhere. It's just like a thing now. And then like something like this happens, and I'm like, what do you mean they're gonna fucking close the game, like close down the country and cancel the games? Like what are you even talking about? And everyone's like, yeah, for sure they're gonna postpone the games. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
Right, let me get this straight. Like in my notepad, old woman dies, country ceases to function.
Yes.
Like what?
Yes.
Is this the year 2022? Like what are we talking about?
Yeah. So
I mean, I guess it's like if we played like fantasy, like Vatican soccer league, and the Pope died, the games would be off. Like,
for sure.
It's like the same thing, I guess.
They would postpone.
Postpone. I don't even know, but I mean, it's just.
I mean, I guess if the president got assassinated, like, would there not be NFL games on Sunday?
DC United game would be called off, but the rest
I actually don't know.
Ahead.
I actually don't know, but it's just so foreign. The whole thing. I'm just like, I guess, yeah.
It's just going back to 2020 with COVID starting.
Yeah, it fucking
happening,
sucks, man.
And then now it's like, I was trying to remember what it was like 4 or 5 years ago, and like a Burnley game got called off because of the snow.
Oh my God.
How much chaos it was if one game in the 38 game weeks, like period, got canceled for some like Mother Nature event. How upside down world that was. And now it's just, it's so dumb. Like this game is so dumb. It's so really, fucking stupid. It's infuriating how dumb and random it is that we're sitting here. Like,
just took all the momentum out.
Yeah, like, it's just, Man United, please, like, fuck, like, what the fuck? I didn't play this game to worry about how many cops can fucking work in Manchester on some random day in the world. I don't give a fuck. Just play the games. It's like insane. They aren't playing games because the fucking police have to go make sure, like, I don't know what. It's just like, oh my goodness,
that's just gonna be like every
it.
world leader in London or some shit, but. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, so
now
there's
I have Bowen
three
in my
games
team.
Cancel, and somehow you have Bowen in your.
I'm like, what is this? Gabagool?
The only good thing that happened is that you get another wildcard week.
Well, that was a very pleasant. That was a pleasant surprise from the Towers.
Very pleasant surprise. This is the current wildcard tinker on screen for YouTube watchers at home.
Disgusting. Look at
I
this
did
array
look,
of people.
Bowen was
disgusting.
I was like, wow, you have Bowen.
Yeah, I'm still like that. I mean, it's, so basically I haven't done much until today when they actually said information. So for the uninitiated, right, we have the Man United game off. We have no Chelsea, no Liverpool. We just have 7 games. So we have 6 teams not playing.
Yeah, so in the Brighton Palace game.
Well, the strikes of the Real still will not strike themselves.
The strike is postponed, but the game is still not going to happen.
How about that?
How about that?
How do you score that one, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, again, out of my league here. I don't know what the fuck is happening over there, but that's what's happening.
So I mean, my team is. I still have. I didn't make a ton of changes. Basically, it's still the same, like 3 spots that I was playing with before.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, the team is pretty similar to what it was before all these cancellations.
Trips is in.
So I have Pope, Trips, Emerson, Dalot. I have a Kyle Walker-Peters that you can talk me out of that.
I see in the screenshot you sent me that he's the newest addition to the team.
Person, yeah. Fofana. And then I have Martinelli, Foden, De Bruyne, Bowen, Pereira, Kane, Mitrovic, Holland. So, I mean, basically the Foden, Bowen, and Kane spots were the spots I was playing with the whole time anyway.
Yeah.
Martinelli, De Bruyne, Mitrovic, and Holland were pretty settled on them, obviously Pereira. And then in defense, like that 4 of Dalot, Fofana, Trips, and Emerson I was pretty settled on those 2 beforehand. Pope, I was pretty sure, but not too sure. And then, the Walker-Peters spot, like I might change that.
Yeah, so talk to me about Bowen. I mean, that to me, that's the most like sort of left field one because West Ham have just been obviously so bad. I know they have really good fixtures. Bowen has not looked anything remotely close to himself last season. So what are you seeing there that makes you be like, this is where I want to go?
Not much.
Okay.
I mean, it's mainly just down to lack of other options, honestly.
Right.
And the fixtures, I do like the fixtures, knowing that they do play, on Thursday, which isn't my favorite thing. They, that Thursday, Sunday has been obviously bad for them since last season. But basically it's just looking at the fixtures on pens, like maybe I'm trying to buy some future points after his blanks consistently. And I think he played pretty well in the last game on Thursday.
Yeah, then the next 4 at Everton, home Wolves, home Fulham, at Southampton. So like if there's a time, it would be now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it is more just down to lack of other options. I mean, I could go for, maybe a little Odegaard action. But, Kulusevski's iffy, and Son's just, completely different price bracket stratosphere. Yeah, so that's not.
Matto, I think, is a guy that you should look at. I mean, they have the away Spurs, and then they have an insane run.
Because basically what I'm thinking...
They have one bad fixture.
They're all bad fixtures while Braj is at the helm, I think, based on what I've seen. Like, I'd rather just
you could make the same case for Bowen, I think.
Well, I mean, the team is at least... Yes, I mean, obviously, West Ham have not been looking good. But, I mean, realistically, I'm looking at a very short-term punt here. With him and Foden, like, I don't want... And even Kane, right? I'm not like, these are players I want till game week 16. So, I'm sort of looking at
Kane and Foden, I'm not sure I agree. Like, I feel like that they're both like really safe in very different ways, right? Like Kane is never just going to be a disaster for you. I feel like, right? Just the pens and he's getting all the big chances in the box. Spurs are just a good team, yada, yada, yada. And Foden, we've talked about him a lot, but it just seems like he's just going to like get assists. Like, right. He's just like crossing a lot to Holland, which is a good strategy. He's often getting those like second balls, those loose balls, those rebounds for chances, and he'll put a couple away. I feel like Foden isn't the type of guy where I'm like, I want to ride him for 4 games and hope he explodes and then jump off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's been more when I've been tinkering and there are other players I like more than them. Like I really wanted Bruno, like we still really like that pick. Like I think it's just what they prevent me from having is more where I'm coming from. Like I don't see a ton of value in spending like 20 million on Kane and Foden when I really kind of just see them like maybe more as like tick merchant type players. I don't know. I mean, no, they're obviously not going to be like emergency transfers out or actual problems. But I know just in looking around the other players in the game, like those are spots that I'm not like, I'm definitely going to be happy here for a while. They can prove me wrong, obviously, by their point returns. But
so Bruno obviously doesn't have the home lead, so they're off this week.
And then
they're at City, so you're just gonna wait there, which makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean that was just the whole conflagration of like Leeds Palace being postponed and then the City game happening, like, that's just not good.
Yeah.
But I still like Bruno. I mean, all in all to say is, I just don't see a lot of other, 1 to 3 week punts other than Bowen in this kind of area that I really love, and even if I were to find a way to go to like someone like Son, right, it would mean sacrificing Kane to, or Foden.
I was actually
both.
going to bring that up because, I mean, I'm strictly looking at like fixtures right now. I don't have this, just looking at the fixtures right now is like Isak is like an obvious one. And I wonder what it looks like or how your team feels with like Son and him versus Kane and Bowen.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my biggest concern with Son is that he's going to be starting every game. And I don't think I want to spend. Secure. Yeah, I don't think I want to spend 12 on that. Like, period. I mean, the more I've kind of been looking at them and seeing how he's been playing the minutes and watching how they play with Rich and how
good Rich has been.
Yeah, I mean, Kulusevski essentially was like their best attacker for the first month, and now he's just not playing. And I get it that Son's been doing it for years, but Conte's doing some like merit based. I don't know how he's actually choosing, but I think that is just 2 from 3 between Kane, Kulusevski, and Rich. And I don't really want to spend, 11 million, 11.5 million on that spot. I mean, it's sort of kind of where I came down to.
This is actually like one of the interesting things from a weekend of no games is that like, how does that impact rest? All of a sudden getting a week off instead of playing every 3 days. I wonder how that does impact.
Yeah.
Rotation with Son. I mean, Son still started every single game for them. So maybe what?
He has, and he still has 0 goals. Like, that's what I'm saying is like, I mean, they're going to play this week, but I'm just watching, in watching them, it's not really an argument. It's just like right now, their best front 3 doesn't have Son in it based on how they play.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but like, that's it. I think what Conte is thinking is it's not just merit based. It's more if we're actually going to do stuff this season and win stuff this season, then Son needs 20 plus goals because Richard and Kulu aren't going to do that. Yeah. So like that, you got to play him into form to some extent, but and
that's what he's been doing. No, and that's what he's been doing for sure. But if he misses 1 game in the next 4,
it sucks.
That's a catastrophe. Like that makes the pick bad. And when Kane's right there,
explodes against Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fair, right? I mean, I have been, mostly wanting Son. And I mean, I might come back around on this by the time the deadline hits on Friday where, okay, I'm willing to take that risk because I talked myself out of Bowen. I mean, I just put Bowen in this morning. I'm like, because there's no one else. I mean, I might keep looking at Bowen. What the fuck am I doing with Bowen?
I don't hate it. It's just surprising.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised too because I don't really like either of these players. But I'm just trying to see is like, these are probably the best picks. But I mean, I could just look at it and be like, well, I would rather have Son and Isak or Tony or whatever. Instead of Kane and Bowen essentially. Yeah.
Because if you're talking short term plan, I'd still just look at Isak as home Bournemouth at Fulham, home Brenham, and I'm just like, fuck. Hard to get better than those, and Newcastle are good. They've been destroying the bad teams. So
absolutely, and I mean I haven't completely thrown out the idea of getting a third Newcastle defender for that Walker Peters spot, and just with getting Botman there and just rotating and benching Botman in the tougher fixtures and still playing trips because he has the attacking output.
I think you should definitely play with that. I like that a lot. What about? What about Gab Jesus? Is he just, you think, definitely out of the team?
It's because that's harder, a tough one. Yeah, I think it's just harder to... I mean, I could do Jesus and Son, for Bowen and Kane, I think. I mean, that fits. But I just look at the fixtures and I'm just like, I don't know.
How does he kill you in those fixtures?
Well, he's not gonna.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, it's like... I mean, maybe at Leeds, game week 11, maybe he gets another crazy return like he did in that Leicester game and they just score 4 or something. But like, it's kind of tough in the other games to imagine him like really fucking killing you.
Yeah. And I mean, home Spurs is, always a wild one, that Darb. And then, Liverpool don't look
can't
great.
Defend.
And City also get hit on the counter very easily. And that's a revenge game. I mean, these are all home games. I could just do Son and Jesus instead of Bowen and Kane. Like, I could see myself landing on that. I'm still definitely thinking about Jesus.
Yeah.
But it's just looking at those fixtures and just seeing it as, an opportunity rather than, do I think he's the best pick for the next kind of handful of game weeks?
Right.
I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm still not sure.
How's the farming going?
It's been very weird because I farmed good crops in the first week, and now all of a sudden those crops are plummeting because their games aren't being like Rash. I banked 0.1 on Rash because he double rose, and now he's nosediving because he doesn't play. So I'm like, God. I'm in like phase 2 of farming because now all
it's kind
of these,
fun though.
No, it's crazy. Like I feel like I'm playing SimCity. It's like now all of these guys who just were not nobodies, like Anthony Gordon, are flying up because they play games. Like all of this weird ass shit.
Also, everyone knows our price change ran, and we don't really know anything. But it does seem like, based on Discord and Twitter, that a ton of people are on Wildcard right now.
Yeah, everything.
Fucking ton.
Yeah, everything seemed to have really changed over the last day or two with the cancellations of these games and people looking like, oh, okay, well, I have 5 players, and the ones that aren't playing, I don't want anyway. Like they're Liverpool players. Yeah, tototally, and that makes total sense. That completely
absolutely
makes total sense. And I just kind of I've been lucky enough that I made the decision early enough that I was able to at least farm a little bit. And
no, I think it's a great time to wildcard. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this last week, but this has never happened in the game before where everybody gets a free transfer, a wildcard gets rolled, and the price changes
and the chips get refunded also.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Chips get refunded and the price is reset while I'm still on the same transfer, free transfer wildcard period. That's never,
it's so crazy.
Conceivably, you could have someone rise by 0.4, which has been fundamentally impossible until literally this only game week, right?
Only game week ever.
This is the only game week ever where it's not going to happen with any player, I don't think. But yeah, it's been the crops have been bountiful.
God.
They've been bountiful.
Make sure you put sunscreen on the back of your ears and back of your neck. Really, really hot spots. And we're bald, so we got to fucking cover the head. Yeah. Big time. Big.
And it's also been preventing the droppages also. My team value would probably be I'll look at it at the end of the game week, but that's been literally very significant, and to the point that's never happened to me in the game before. I've prevented myself from losing a lot of value on a lot of players, and the farming has been better than it's ever been. Yeah, Mo went down, Robbo's going to go down again, Trent's going to go down. All the players I owned are going to go down this game week, basically. And I'm just not dodging all that, which is great.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Team's looking good. I think your questions are all in the right spots. I still think that Neco deserves a look in, even though they just,
well, what were
lost to fucking Bournemouth. But
where would you put him in? Where? How does he fit? How does he come in here?
Honestly, probably ahead of KWP or Dalot, I think.
Really?
Yeah, off the top of my head. This is me not looking at numbers, and I know NFO are fucking horrible, but you're kind of, those guys are more you're getting for attacking than for clean sheets. United haven't been good for any of their cleans. Southampton, I never expect to keep cleans, but they get forward and then they get in the box and they cross and they have assist potential. But I feel like Nico's attacking output is so much higher, even though I also don't expect cleans from them. I don't know. It's just something to look at. It's just something on my mind. But I'm gonna save the screenshot and dive more in for Thursday pod. I think will be much more of the you're making your final decisions kind of episode.
Yeah, after Champions League games get played, and I sit with the news more.
Exactly.
I've been very much thinking about Neco since I first popped the wild card. Now it seems like it was weeks ago, and I just like I agree with you, Man United aren't like really good for their clean so far, but they at least like have really good players in all the positions, and
and like De Gea can save
and
shit sometimes,
and like Dalot has been legitimately putting up really good numbers himself attacking. Like, I just still watch Neco like without the set pieces, and I'm just like, and looking at their fixtures, like I don't literally no game. Ever do I expect to clean? So it's like I wouldn't even ever be
head.
Like I wouldn't even be wanting to start him as part of a rotation. Like I would always just like want him to be shielding the bench or something.
Yeah,
that's my thing with him that I keep looking at.
I kind of forgot that he lost the corners. That's so bad for him.
It is
like that's like probably like 4 assists,
3 or 4. Yeah,
which is like really really big for him getting value because they're going to keep 4 cleans. But
I do feel like I do feel like a little bit pervy about KWP because I do really like Southampton's defense right now.
And I've always liked him. I've always been a big fan. I've had him like in probably every season before this season. I've had him at some point.
Yeah, they just have a little bit of a difficult fixture run till the World Cup, which is like making me a little bit. I'm not sure. I mean, they have a few decent ones, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think
the thing with Southampton and why their run looks so bad, which I think is like a funny, weird quirk of the World Cup, is that it's only 16 game weeks before the World Cup, right? So everyone will not have played everyone yet. The games that Southampton will not have played are home Brighton, at Fulham, home NFO.
Yeah.
So like, if you swapped in those with like 3 bad ones, then we'd be like, oh man, they have a really good run, but they're just missing a bunch of the good games.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so those are kind of like, that's where my head is. Cool. Just loosely, trying to figure out. I think there will be those kind of still same spots as last week. The Kane, Foden, Bowen spots, the big money spots to augment. Those other 4 guys that I feel pretty settled on.
Yeah.
And then, the defense again. I mean, I do feel pretty good about the defense, except for the KWP pick. We'll see. I mean, and with Foden, Foden I think is a big question because
that's a hard one.
We've historically always had a difficult time, just assessing and evaluating him from an FPL standpoint. And,
and I still
obviously, still do. Nothing's changed. I mean, obviously I will need and will have a third City player. I could talk myself into a lot of different things there. Like I could see myself going with like fucking Akanji. I don't even know, or going to Gundo or Bilv. Like if I'm like, oh, well, I can get this upgrade if I save $1 million here. So I don't know, that third City spot I need to spend a lot more time thinking about too, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm interested that you're kind
Alvarez.
that you're kind of bigging Son up a little bit more. Cause I was kind of like I was like talking myself out of him since I was like kind of into him last week. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me jump to my kind of team right now. So let me pull this up really quick because I, like many people, am in a little bit of a bind, but I have 2 frees, which is fucking huge right now. So that extra free transfer is really saving me right now. But I have 10 starting guys in air quotes because Walker's orange flagged. And then I don't have a keeper. And
no, you have obvious.
Well, I have Iverson.
He's going to start.
Probably not going to start.
He's definitely starting this week.
Are you fucking with me?
No, I think he's going to start.
Why?
I don't think because everyone in the world has been watching Danny Ward play keeper. I think this is the time. Enough has been enough.
God, don't fucking do this to me. But
I'm telling you, dude, that's my shout on this one.
I've been thinking about just going Mo to Son because the reason to keep Mo was for the home Wolves game.
What home Wolves game?
Yeah, and then that got postponed. And then alternatively, Son has home Leicester, and that's just the fucking best fixture on earth. So that's why kind of Son's been on my mind. Also, Bruno has no fixture. I already have Kevin. Raz has no fixture. There's like a lot of the premiums got fucking dinged by the Queen dying. So, but yeah, that is also why I kind of looked at Matto, not for this week, but just like their run is just so fucking insane after Spurs. They've home NFO, at Bournemouth, home Palace, home Leeds, at Wolves. It's like All they need to do is just sack Braj after they get demolished by Spurs, and then they could actually pick up points in those. So
yeah, I think that's one that you do after, not before, though. That's my biggest issue with them. And they do have, I mean, if they were home Bournemouth this weekend, we could have a different conversation.
Yeah.
You know, they have a really bad fixture this weekend. So
yeah.
I mean, looking at your team, that is the obvious thing, I think.
It is, right? And then I just have, 11 outfield players. Walker probably won't play. I mean, we'll get Champions League, so we'll see if he's even in the squad for Dortmund or not. So we'll have like a little bit of clarity, but then I'll have 11 outfield players, and I'll probably just whatever on keeper. Like, I don't really think it's worth a transfer to just get 2 points from someone else that But do you think I should be like using both threes to get like Pope or something like that?
No, I think Iverson's going to play. You'll get 2 points, 1 point, and then you're back to.
You're fucking fucking with me, I think. Okay.
No, I'm not fucking with you, dude. How bad has he can't keep playing?
But he's
him.
Been bad every second of every game.
The momentum has been
why is
building.
It the breaking point now?
Because the momentum has been building to a point that you cannot continue to refuse after getting absolutely disassembled by Brightham. They have to fucking make a change. He has to change the goalkeeper.
Get Iverson in.
He can't keep playing this man. He just can't do it. I don't think that he's going to do it again this weekend. I think Allen Iverson's going to start this weekend.
All right, so then I'll probably just do Mo to Son and roll my other free.
But then you don't have 11 though, because you only have 2 defenders, right? Because there's no Palace game, so you have so you have to do something with Walker.
God damn it. Yeah. Okay. So I totally am an idiot and didn't even look at that. Shows how much attention I pay to FPL once there's fucking no games. I mean, I'll have a lot in the bank.
Yeah.
I can basically get anyone. So
I forgot I wanted to ask you also. I mean, I've been seeing some like perversions of Perisic and Sess in teams. Do you think that that's like a good thing, or too nuts, or too much money for one spot, or
it might be fucking genius?
Yeah. Is my biggest question is like, is Sess that good? Is like he good enough?
Yeah, he is. I think in this system he just is. It's just it's Conte. It's not Sess. You're buying the Conte at left back. You're not buying Sessegnon.
Meanwhile,
he's just started. Hold on, he started 3 games. He has a goal and an assist. Pretty good.
Meanwhile, in the same system, on the other side of the pitch, nailed on every game 90 minutes. Doesn't matter.
Though. 2 assists, bro.
He's so fucking bad.
Hey, 2 assists, dude. Yeah, he is fucking horrible.
He's so fucking bad.
I don't know. Conte likes something about him. He probably like makes Conte an espresso every morning and brings it to his office. Thank you, Emerson. Like it's Love Island or something. Makes him the morning.
So if you have 6-5, who are you looking at here?
I have no idea. I haven't even thought about it. I mean, we haven't even mentioned the fact that Graham Potter manages Chelsea now.
Let's talk about that. I forgot about that.
I mean, I haven't even read anything about it yet. It's so fucking
we don't
crazy.
have to read anything. We know what happened. He's managing them.
I'm just saying, like, I haven't even like processed it yet. I mean, it makes me feel really good about having Reece James. He's probably just going to be a fucking god. I think it's a great hire. I've been saying for actual years that Potter is a fucking amazing manager and deserves a big chance. I think, like that you can argue about the timing with Tuchel. I don't think that was ideal to like spend $1 billion in the transfer window and then sack him, but like whatever. I think Potter's going to do great and they're going to be great. I think that like the almost more interesting thing is like, what the fuck does this mean for Brighton? Like, are they just really bad now? Because like their players are, and Lallana's like player managing them, and I don't know about that. And like, so that's a weird one, because before that we look at them on the schedule and we're like, that's a really bad fixture, but like, is it? I don't know.
Now it's just good, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I'm pretty comfortable saying that it's just a good fixture.
I think so.
I mean, they've been just greater than the sum of their parts for years since they got Potter.
Yeah.
And now that their parts are being exposed a little bit differently and looked at like, oh, actually they don't have depth, and actually all these players kind of suck, and actually they don't have goals in this team.
Yes.
They should just start to really struggle.
I think they're going to be really bad.
Yeah, I think they will be really bad, and they will probably lose good players at a faster rate now, like the few that they do have.
Yeah.
And we know that Bloom and that they know what they're doing over there in their player recruitment, but a manager like Potter to stitch all these things together, the United Nations football team to be, top half is fool's gold. I mean, it's gold dust, right? I mean, he goes and the kind of the ruse collapses, and then all of a sudden you're looking at like, wait, Sully March has been playing how many minutes for this team?
Yeah.
Kind of things. We start to look at things like that.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they foresaw this coming, foreseen this coming, whatever. And they have like fucking Thomas Frank waiting in the wings, like a Brentford would when all their managers kept leaving and stuff, like who knows? But I feel like the odds are they don't.
Yeah.
Right? Like the odds are they have an average manager and he's going to do an average job with a team of average to below average players.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's basically that.
Yeah, and I mean it's back to like, I think this is also something that has nudged a lot of FPL managers into wildcarding, because they're like, well, I already had 2 Brighton players and now also like all my Liverpool, like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
looking at
Brighton players, their match is canceled and they're bad now. Like Liverpool players are bad and have bad fixture. Yeah, I totally get the wild card.
But back to Chelsea though, I mean, do you think he's going to keep doing the 3 at the back, or do you think he's going to switch to 4 at the back?
I assume he'll keep the 3 at the back because they played a similar enough style under Tuchel that it should be like a relatively easy transition for him. Yeah. And like I bring this up multiple times every season for years. It's just like a new manager comes in and like oftentimes the biggest thing they do is just put the best guys in their best positions, and that makes a huge difference. And it's like, when I look at Reece James in my team, I'm like, I don't think he's going to play more right center back. He's not running Tariq Lamptey at right center back ever.
No,
he plays Lamptey in the final third because that's where his best position is. And I'm like, cool, Reece is going to be really fucking good.
Do you know who we're going to see a lot less of?
RLC at wing back.
RLC, period.
Ding.
Ding.
Well, yeah, I mean, they still don't have midfielders, so we'll see what they do there. But
yeah,
I was also thinking like even like a Pulisic, I don't know.
We don't know what this is the thing with him, right? Reading all and seeing all the shit he's done with McAllister this year, like moving a 10 to play 6, like Potter is an actual tactical genius god.
He's a savant freak.
I'm like very all in on that.
I'm so
based
in on
that. Watching him make these teams and team sheets and seeing how they play and the fluidity they have and the roles he puts different players in. I mean, he moved fucking Trossard to wing back this year.
Not to mention they just lose their best player every year or multiple. This year they lost Kukurea and Basuma.
Yeah,
the year before they lose Ben, and the year before they lose Ben White. Yeah, and they just get better.
They replace them with fucking someone named Undav for $2 million from fucking the league in Belgium. Like they don't replace these.
And they
Caicedo,
have a
who no one's heard of.
From Caicedo. He played like 5 games the year before, and he's just like he's a $70 million pound player that's gonna go to like Liverpool next. I'm like, okay, I guess so.
The 9th best player on Chelsea is better than the best player on Brighton. So Potter walking into this room and seeing these, these tools at his disposal to, watch how he's going to start to manipulate them is going to be really fun to see.
Yeah, the
biggest issue is just the timing of it, I think. Obviously the death of Her Majesty Queen, what the fuck? Elizabeth dying gives him that extra week, but then they have the World Cup.
Potter,
so I mean, it is tough because he doesn't have a preseason. He has to pick it up on the fly. So I think from an FPL standpoint, like we're obviously in the long term projecting like we like this move, right? You and I both.
Yeah.
To me though, in the near term is like how quickly are they going to actually look and be better than they were? Is it going to take a couple of weeks or is it going to take a couple of months? Yeah. We just don't know that. That's sort of where we're questioning.
The part of Chelsea's game that I expect we will see immediate improvement, though, is clean sheets.
Yeah.
Like, if there's anything Potter will instill right away, it's like, we're going to be defensive and we're going to, Kepa in goal. We're going to be defensive. We're going to put Kepa in goal and we're going to just like keep the ball and like not take risks.
Yeah.
The attacking side is like a whole different problem. There's way too many players. They're all fucking bunch of babies and brats and they're all like kind of good and kind of bad at the same time. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know who he's going to play. I don't know who he's going to like or trust, but I feel like wing backs, midfielders, and back are all going to be good, and they're going to like settle down.
But it's interesting to see, though, with Brighton, how they concede few chances, but they're gaping enormous big chances. I wonder how that's going to translate.
But with the Chelsea like team. A thing that most of the good teams do
because they're out of position generally defensively.
Well, yeah, because it's like okay, City
they get turned on a counter.
5 shots a game or whatever it is. I don't have it open right now, but it's like when they get concede a chance, it's like better than average because it's the one time that the team like got out of their own half or something like that, So
they need Kepa in goal even more now than ever.
I would love that. Kepa's distribution. Yeah, I mean, last year, the top teams for non-penalty XG per shot conceded were Leeds and Southampton. No surprise there. But then tied for second are Norwich, Wolves, Watford, Manchester City, and Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's just like insane, but that is how they do it. It's completely different to the Spurs style, who this season are the best in the league at this, and last season were the best in the league in this. Yeah. They're like, you can shoot as much as you fucking want. They're just going to be from fuckland.
And we're going to block it.
And we have Lloris, who's going to save most of the things that get through anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Raz is like the most interesting, speculative in advance buy, just because we know that he's going to play just because he's better than everyone else.
Yeah, I agree.
But how everything fits and who actually does come to the fore and plays consistently, it could be Pulisic could start 25 league games. And I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Well, I'd be surprised because he stayed fit that long, but I'd be
not from the skill standpoint.
Not from the skill standpoint, but I am very excited to hear about the Potter Aubameyang management relationships. As Aubameyang finally wins one over the manager, and then I don't know. Potter's gonna have him doing like operas.
We'll see in a week's time. Yeah, we'll see how his emotional intelligence degree does with the fucking big baby driving his chromed out Lambo into training. If it's still red, they're gonna have problems. He better have gotten that paint job done to blue. We'll see how that falls. But
what defender should I get? Do you have any thoughts before we just slap asses and get out of here? I mean, I haven't even looked. I'm just being totally straight up. So I'm just kind of looking. I mean,
the biggest issue is that it has to be someone that plays this week.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking annoying, right? Maybe Perry won't start in the Champions League.
Well, I wouldn't bank on that. But I mean, is it crazy to get Sess?
I mean, I guess it would just all depend on what happens in the Champions League. And is there a leak? No, there's not going to. There might be a leak. They play Saturday.
There
might be a leak. Without a leak, I would just be way too scared.
I think
everyone's off Cucurella, but like the Potter, I'm like, I kind of want to go back to recent Cucurella. I'm like, isn't Cucurella just going to be a god now and the best on bones and just like, I don't know.
Well, we still don't know how he's going to resolve the Chilwell situation, because if he just puts him over at left center back because he's like, okay, you suck at left wing back because you get in the final third and your hair falls out. He and they don't play, so that's not a good option for you, right?
But, fucking hell, I keep forgetting, dude.
I think it's also you need to look at what you want to do next, because there is a world
huge factor.
where Neco, you fucking love Neco, right? Where Neco or Emerson might be, or Patter, like one of the 4 million guys might be the option.
Right.
Looking at the rest of your defense
for 1 week. Yeah.
Because then you want to upgrade Reed, right? You want to go 3-4-3.
Right.
So, I think that's something that you need to look at. Because you can get, if you get a 4 million guy here, you can go up to a 7 mil. You can get someone good for Reed.
Yeah, I could get like fucking anyone.
Well, 7 mil, yeah.
7 mil's a lot though.
No, it is. Yeah, there's options.
Yeah, 69, dude. Anyway, this is for Thursday. I'll play around with some stuff. Okay.
So we have Champs Leagues this week. We're gonna do scouting. We're gonna do scouting on Thursday and pod on Thursday.
Patreon pod. Should it be a public pod? Should it be like a wildcard pod for the public?
What would she have wanted? Do people say that in earnest? They say that. Should I have black tea or Earl Grey tea tonight? Well, she preferred Earl Grey, so it would be in memory and tribute to her to get Earl Grey tea, I think. Right?
It's fucking awesome. I mean, I love it, dude. It's so good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one of the UK people who listen to the pod will have a better indication of what Her Majesty would have wanted us to do. Maybe a minute silence to start the next episode instead of an okay, and a black armband, and we just do it for the people because she was for the people, right?
I don't know. You could have told me she owned slaves. That's all news to me. I have no idea. I don't know anything about her.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I was tweeting with Andy, FPL guy, and he was like, the best way to mark our respects is by all having Captain Mitrovic for his hat trick against Nottingham Forest. And I replied with how you would have replied with, she would have loved that. Just my answer for everything. Mate, she would have fucking loved that. And
you think we're going to lose a lot of Patreons after this episode comes out?
Well, the GIF is going to be controversial.
Another day.
The Queen header, knee slide, double middle finger. Not sure everyone's going to love that. I love it.
Well, when she's looking up from hell at that GIF, what would she feel?
I think she'll be like, there's Alon and Walsh taking the piss once again. Yeah. She loves a lad being a lad,
Okay.
She's
I like this story.
Yeah. So I think she would have loved that too.
Okay.
It's all for her. Let me slap asses. Oh, brother. Let me slap asses. New Patreon sign-ups. In this dark time in the world, we still got people signing up for Patreon. Thank you, everyone. We got Theodore Kalin, Andre Bondre, Thomas Kahara, Tom Gunnar, Runar Bolsa, Ben Davis, Ben Gautier, Graham Adams. Slap the ass. Get in there. She would have loved that. Any last words, brother?
It's all for her. Unbelievable. Oh my god.
Oh, check us out. NetFMLBL.com. Follow us on Twitter. FMLBL Sports Page. /FMLBL. Subscribe, rate, review.